from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications. You're watching WUFT News.
This March Madness, the Gators men's basketball team are 2 wins away from another national championship. And Gator Nation fan fever is nearing an all-time high. This is WFT's First at 5. I'm Bernardo Montas.
And I'm Kirsten Maselka. WFT's Jessica Nitti is live at the University of Florida bookstore as Final Four merch is being unboxed ahead of this weekend's matchup against Auburn.
Ahead of the Gators' Final Four game this weekend, Gator fans are flocking to the University of Florida bookstore to pick up merch, just like this. Here's how the rest of the Gator Nation is gearing up. While Final Four gear hasn't arrived yet, fans are already stopping by to get a head start on the celebration.
We're expecting this to be a huge event for us. We're excited. We're planning watch parties all over campus, pop-ups to sell Final Four gear. Just a lot of hype and demand around this team. You know, Gator boys stay hot, so we got to feed it.
The bookstore says they're already expecting high demand from students, alumni, and visiting fans alike. And some fans aren't waiting around. They're packing their bags and heading straight to San Antonio to cheer on the Gators in person.
My family is like a huge Gator family, so I know we're like all gonna be decked out. There's literally 18 of us going, like sitting all together, so we're definitely gonna show our Gator support just being there.
Whether they're traveling or tuning in, fans are fired up for the Final Four. The bookstore says once the year arrives, it'll hit the shelves right away. They expect strong sales leading up to the weekend. Live at the University of Florida, Jessica Nitti, WUFT News.
High pollen counts are forcing neighbors in north central Florida to seek remedies to help with their scratchy throats and running noses. We've got live team coverage of what's playing a role in making allergy season longer. We begin with UF forecaster Matthew Clark on if the recent downpours are helping keep the pollen count low.
Well, here in Gainesville, that pollen count is going to stay high. That is bad news for you people with allergies, myself included. I have very high allergies. It is getting rained out in parts of the Panhandle right now and parts of the southeast. There's severe thunderstorm watches all the way up through Virginia, actually, and a severe thunderstorm watch until 9 for Columbia and Suwannee County. A part of these strong line of storms moving the way further to the east. There was just a thunderstorm warning for parts of Taylor County, but that has just expired, but still strong lines of thunderstorms moving the way further to the east. Still lots of lightning and very strong storms. It is going to start to rain its way out as it heads into our area, bringing it a little closer to home though. We saw a little bit of blue skies earlier today, but we see some gray skies over our campus cam right now. Cloud coverage is starting to increase. A little bit darker skies overlooking that campus cam over the O-Dome. Winds from the southwest at 14 miles per hour. Pretty strong winds. Temperature 81 degrees. Feels like a can of soup out there. It is quite humid out there. That humidity is not going away anytime soon. That humidity is also going to stay throughout the rest of the week. And that pollen, bad news, it's going to stay high. I'll have that in a few minutes.
Sneezing, wheezing, and coughing this pollen season seems to be intense for many who just want to take in the fresh air. WFT's Hayli Balgobin continues our team coverage at a Gainesville car wash where we find one local who's ready for some pollen relief.
If you find your vehicle is covered in a new yellow powdered coat, don't fret. Pollen season is in bloom, which means car washes are seeing more business. You are not seeing yellow. Pollen season is causing more damage than just allergy flare-ups. Vehicles are buried in pollen and need the extra scrub to clean it off. James Long says his SUV needed a little TLC. He and his wife live in an area with an abundance of pollen. So she asked him to take it to the wash.
I live on 5 acres with all trees, so anytime, you know, in the whole area there's trees going in and out. So yeah, we've got all kinds of pollen there, and you know, so this is it right here.
Cynthia Nazario Leary is an environmental horticulture specialist with the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences. She says this is normal for spring.
To me, it seems like a regular pollen season. I don't know. I mean, I think people sometimes forget because I feel like I've seen heavier pollen years.
Medical experts advise consulting with a doctor if it's too much to bear. If you plan to be out and about, plan for pollen to be around. Either if you're washing your car by hand or by store. Experts say it's important to keep your windshields clean to drive safely. In Gainesville, Hayli Balgobin, WUFT News.
The changing political climate is leaving some Americans unsatisfied. WUFT's Carle shows us how some are making sure their voices are heard nonetheless.
People, posters, protest. Protesters of Elon Musk's role in Doge and the U.S. government are taking to the streets to voice their concerns.
There are a lot of us, millions of us, who are not okay with what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now.
Musk has made cuts to multiple government agencies since becoming an elected official, including the Department of Education and the Federal Aviation Administration. Over 160 protesters stood outside a Gainesville Tesla dealership Saturday afternoon to show their frustration with Musk. These protests are one of many which have been taking place across the country. Organizer of the protest, Monique Constantino, is concerned by the financial state of Florida.
I'm worried that Ron DeSantis is sending federal money back to Washington. We need it here in Florida.
She says Floridians are not being taken care of.
In this parking lot right here, people spend the night because they don't have a home.
Constantino wants to give voice to the voiceless.
So that's why I'm out here fighting for people that can't speak for themselves.
But she worries for what's to come.
I have no idea what the future holds.
But others support Musk's role in our government. Counter-protester Dorothy Sullivan is in support of Florida's financial situation and doesn't support the backlash against Tesla.
I'm in support of all the spending cuts that are happening, and I don't like all the violence, what they're doing against Tesla. That's wrong. Tesla's an American company. Why would you do that to people?
She says she supports those in office. Sullivan thinks Musk is a perfect fit.
It's a safer world. It's a safer America.
Her final message?
Just make America great again. Go Trump.
Carle, WUFT News.
Thanks, Ciara. Governor Ron DeSantis announces a proposal to deliver immediate property tax relief to Florida homeowners. The governor's proposal could potentially result in $1,000 in property tax cuts for homesteaded Floridians.
The tax relief needs to be Florida first. We need to focus on our Florida residents. We need to focus on, in this case, Florida homeowners, particularly our homesteaded homeowners, and we need to focus the relief there.
Governor DeSantis said his long-term goal is a constitutional amendment eliminating property taxes in the state. If approved, this rebate will be a step towards making the governor's goal a reality.
For just under a week, nearly 4,000 athletes from all over the world came to Gainesville for the World Masters Athletics Indoor Championships. Coming up after the break, we take a deeper look into the competition and hear from some of the record-setting athletes. Stay with us.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Exciting news for Gainesville. Thousands of athletes, young and old, made their home right here in Gainesville for the last week to compete in the World Masters Athletic Competition.
That's right, Kirsten. It's the first time the games have been held in the U.S., and as WFT's Nicolas Diaz reports, the games could return back to the States in 2027.
Competition, excitement, community. The 2025 World Masters Athletics Indoor Championships ended Sunday, with athletes coming from around the world waiting and ready for the familiar sound of the starting gun.
But yeah, I came out here to win gold. I didn't come out here for any other color.
The event is unique for its diverse pool of age groups, with some competitors being over 100 years old.
And it is really inspiring seeing the older, like the 70 plus and the 80 plus competing. It's inspiring and it's really good to see them moving well.
One important aspect of the World Masters, a chance to relive some of the competitors' early glory days, like USA's 43-year-old Curtis Smith.
I did it when I was in college, and I had about a 15-year break or so before kind of stumbling onto Masters track and field, and just getting to meet a lot of my fellow competitors that are now just kind of buddies.
Despite the friendly nature, the 7-day event brought in the competitive fire as athletes set 38 new world records and 120 new championship records. 63-year-old Jim Watts has been competing since high school, and the love for the sport still lives on nearly 5 decades later.
I still want to stay down here and watch the competition, you know. It's always fun watching the speed events, you know.
Team USA led the medal count with 557, followed by Great Britain with 93 and Germany earning 70. The host for the 2027 Indoor Championships has yet to be decided, but it's safe to say that Gainesville made a name for itself this year. Nick Diaz, WUFT News.
Strong thunderstorms are pushing their way through the Panhandle currently and headed towards the east. I'll have your evening planner after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Well, from the rain here yesterday to the storms in the Panhandle, it hasn't been the greatest weather for spring, that's for sure.
Absolutely. The rain would not stop yesterday, so hopefully we'll be seeing some sunnier weather. Back to that Florida usual that we like to see.
Yeah, I really hope so. So Matthew, I mean, what can we expect heading into this week?
Well, there are some severe thunderstorms still in the Panhandle, inching their way towards us. There is a severe risk, that slight risk, that yellow is just north of us. We have a slight marginal risk here in Gainesville, but most of that severe weather is staying to the north and to the west of us. It's actually spanning all the way up through Virginia with plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings to go around and a lot of severe thunderstorm watches for parts of Georgia up through Virginia. These storms are starting to rain themselves out as it makes its way through Taylor County right now. Still lots of lightning though. There was a severe thunderstorm warning just a little bit ago. Still some very strong thunderstorms heading its way towards the east through Taylor County right now. But here in Gainesville, getting a little bit more overhead cloud coverage. We saw a little bit blue skies earlier, but that cloud coverage is starting to increase. Getting some strong winds from the southwest. It feels like a can of soup out there. It is humid. It feels like a Florida summer day. Temperatures, though, don't feel like a Florida summer day. 80 degrees here in Gainesville, 82 in Ocala, and 82 over in Stark. A little bit cooler over to the west just because of that rain. It's also pretty windy as well. Look at those wind gusts, 21 miles per hour here in Gainesville right now. And as long as that wind is moving from the south, we're going to feel that humidity, that fresh Florida humidity. Temperatures are not going to decrease that much. We're going to just go into the upper 60s, so it's going to be a warm and muggy evening. Slight rain chances as we head into those evening hours, but we're going to look at that severe thunderstorm watch for parts of Columbia and Suwannee County. Could get a couple strong storms near Lake City, but most of those strong storms are going to stay north of us. Could get a passing shower tomorrow around midnight. Then waking up tomorrow for your workday, cloud coverage is going to be pretty consistent, but most of those showers are going to stay to the north of us, and it clears up before tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. So tomorrow is going to be a nicer day in terms of temperatures. It's going to be a little bit cooler, but then Wednesday we're going to start getting hot. Look at that, 88 degrees here on Wednesday afternoon. Then waking up on Thursday morning, we're going to be in the 70s. That is warm, that is muggy, and then 90 in Ocala. That would be the first time we've seen 90 here Thursday afternoon. Friday morning, much of the same as Thursday morning, and then Friday afternoon, it's also going to be pretty warm, 87 in Gainesville, 88 in Ocala. So that summertime temperatures, they feel like they're back. That pollen, it's still going to be there as well. Look at that, high across the board from today through Wednesday. Because the rain, it's not really going to reach our area, so that pollen is going to be high. So car wash cast today and tomorrow, caution because we could get a couple sprinkles, but then Wednesday through the weekend, you are going to be good to go get a car wash and get that pollen off your car. I know my car is yellow. I'm sure everyone else's car is yellow. This weekend going to be much nicer than last weekend. Going to have some sunshine, just reaching just south of 90s. But then look at that, Wednesday through Saturday, we're going to be in the 90s before we get another front system on Monday, cooling us down ever so slightly. But it feels like Florida summer is back.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
It's time to talk sports. The Gators basketball team had everyone in Gainesville on the edge of their seats this weekend. Florida is on its way to its 6th Final Four in program history after defeating Texas Tech in the Elite Eight. Coincidentally, the men's basketball team isn't the only one that defeated Texas Tech to move on to the Final Four. The women's team is headed to the semifinals of the WBIT after also defeating the Red Raiders. The women are on the road for this game, but WFT's Jack Meyer is at the O'Connell Center to tell us about tonight's matchup.
Yes, Issa, tonight the Florida Gators women's basketball team is taking part in its first Final Four appearance in a postseason tournament in 25 years. The Gators are in Indianapolis this evening as they're taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers in the WBIT semifinals.
Number 4 Gators softball swept 25th ranked Auburn on the road for the first time since 2011. The Gators have now won 16 straight series over the Tigers, this one marking their first sweep since 2020 at home. Going 3 for 4 in the last game, senior Kendra Falby moved into second on the all-time career hits list at Florida with 304. The Gators currently remain ranked at 4th in the nation and will travel to Tallahassee for a midweek matchup against number 7 Florida State on Wednesday. Let's wrap it up with Gainesville's favorite sport, football. The 8-0 Santa Fe girls flag football team takes on 5-0 University Christian tonight in a battle of the undefeated. Time for one last break, but when we come back, Matthew will have a final look at your forecast.
Summertime temperatures are coming back early. We could see 90s for a few days this week. It's going to be warm, it's going to be humid, and we could have some rain tomorrow morning.
Thanks, Matthew. Thanks for joining us, and we're back tomorrow with another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WFT.org and on all our social media platforms. Good night.